first I have to ask you, why are you in North Iowa today?
Well, we're looking to make a very big announcement on June 16th in New York at Trump Tower, and we want to make this country great again. Politicians are never going to do it. They don't have what it takes. Frankly, we're in such a hole right now that these politicians are just, I've been dealing with politicians all my life. I know them better than anybody, and they don't have it. They're all talk, they're no action, and our country's going to hell, and we are going to make a big announcement on June 16th in New York, and I think a lot of people are going to be very happy. They're tired of what's going on with respect to our country. We're being beaten at so many fronts, whether it's militarily. You look at what's going on in the Middle East, I mean, we're a laughing stock. Whether it's China and trade, Mexico, what they're doing at the border and trade. We're just being beaten at every front by everybody. So hopefully I'll make an announcement that you'll be very proud of, too.
Well, I have to ask you, what do you want Iowa voters to know? I mean, they know you as maybe a celebrity. They know you from your TV ventures, book ventures. You're not necessarily a politician, but why should they believe that you could be maybe the president of the U.S.?
Okay, so I built a great business. I've done it internationally all over the world. I've made tremendous amounts of money, which, of course, it sounds terrible. It sounds very, not nice. But if we're not going to make the country rich again, we're not going to make the country great again. And I deal with China, I deal with everybody, and I win, and that's what we need. We need that mindset. We're going to have that mindset, or we're not. We're at $18 trillion. The 18 trillion is going to go up. 23, 24 trillion, which we're going to hit very soon. That's like the magic number. That's like the point of no return. And politicians, I know them all. They're not going to get us to the promised land, believe me. And so that's why I'm here. And I just have a great relationship with the people of Iowa. We've had tremendous crowds, the biggest crowds. Nobody's had the crowds that we've had. We get the biggest standing ovations. And the concept is to make our country great again. It's very simple.
Now, will there be any conflicts, though, with you as a businessman to possibly a politician? Will there be conflict of interest in your dealings?
Well, there would be none. Look, if you become president, you want to make this country so strong and so rich and so healthy and militarily good and take care of the vets. You have to take care of the vets. Our vets are treated like third-class citizens in this country, and they're the greatest we have. And there's so many things you have to do. And I'd have my children run the business. I have a great business, a wonderful business, but I wouldn't care about my business after that. I would not care. I mean, I couldn't care less about my business. I'd make it so that everybody's business could thrive and people could thrive and people would get jobs because we need jobs. China's taken our jobs. They've taken our manufacturing and other countries. I mean, China's the #1 abuser, but other countries also. Mexico, what they've done to us at the border is unbelievable. People are flowing in by the hundreds of thousands, going right through our border like it's water, like it's a sieve. And it's all got to be taken care of. And it can be done very easily.
You've talked about building a fence at the border. Some people have laughed at that.
Well, not laughed. I mean, not a fence, a wall, a very strong wall. Who can build better than Trump? Can anyone build better than I build buildings all over I build some of the greatest buildings in the world. I mean, you look at the buildings I've done, walls are easy. And I'd have Mexico pay for it. Believe me, and you mark my words, they will pay. They have been ripping us left and right for so long. I don't know if you saw Ford is building this $2.5 billion plant in Mexico to make cars and trucks and parts and everything else, and they're going to send them up to our country. Now, how does that do us any good? Mexico just took a big car plant from one of the big German companies from Tennessee. They took it right away from Tennessee. They're going to build it in Mexico instead of in Tennessee. And look, we have to straighten out. We need people with understanding. We have incompetent leaders. We have a president that doesn't know what he's doing. He has no clue. I don't think he has a clue. Some people say he's a bad person. I say he doesn't have a clue. And we got to straighten it out, and it can be straightened out with the right person.
If there was something that you could have changed about what the president has enacted during his 2 presidencies, what would you change?
Well, I don't think you have enough time for that answer. I'd be here.
You said it all day.
I could be here for hours. Look, Obamacare has to be repealed and replaced, and I think everybody should be protected. Everybody has to be taken care of. I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican conservative, but I have a big heart. But it's no good. People's premiums are going up through the roof, and they can't afford it. I don't know if you saw the report came out last week where 57%, 59%, 48%, all raises. And of course, the deductible is unaffordable by people. So Obamacare would be one. We have to really increase our strength with the military. We have to take care of our veterans. We have so many different things. We have to take care of trade. We have to renegotiate deals with countries like Mexico, like China, like Japan, which is rearing its head again, what they're doing. You know, they've devalued their currency to a point where it's very hard to compete with Japan. So we have to take care of all of that, and it's something that I can do because it's a natural thing for me to do, and politicians can't do it because they're controlled by lobbyists, and they don't have the ability even if they weren't.
Now, I want to go back to Obamacare. There was a new report out that more than 10 million people are now enrolled, and it's higher than the marks they'd originally set. What would be your plan to replace that?
Well, the thing that's higher is the price is higher because, and that came out 2 days ago, where the price is up 47% higher. People can't afford it. People can't afford it. And the other thing that's happening that nobody's even talking about yet, but they will, and I know many doctors that are just leaving their business, but doctors are leaving their business. I have one person that said, I have more accountants than I have nurses, a doctor. And they're retiring and they're leaving and they're quitting, and you don't have the doctors anymore to take care of it because they can't make it with Obamacare. So Obamacare is no good from a deductible standpoint. The deductible, I mean, you have to be hit by a tractor before you ever kick in. So it's no good from that standpoint, and it's no good generally. It's just no good. Too complicated, no good. The website costs $5 billion and doesn't work still. People don't realize it still doesn't work, and it has to be repealed and replaced with something great. And something great that's less expensive for the country, so the country can afford it, and much better for the people.
Now, if you do decide to run for president, will you make these plans very clear? Will you lay out some of your ideas?
Sure. Well, I've been making them. I mean, we've had tremendous audiences, tremendous crowds throughout Iowa, throughout New Hampshire, in North Carolina, and South Carolina, and Florida. Wherever I speak, I mean, I have tremendous, because they want to see it. I mean, they want to see our country be great again. Our country's not great right now. Right now, we're second rate to China and other countries that are beating us at every step. When was the last time you saw victory for the United States? We don't have victories. When did we beat China at a trade deal? When do we beat Mexico at anything? Mexico is being run very smart, really, by the people running it. Their leaders are smarter than ours. The Chinese leader, it's not even a contest. And, you know, I look at what's going on, and we just don't have victories anymore. Look at ISIS. I mean, they're making us look like fools.
Well, I want to ask you about that. Right now, the U.S. Is leading airstrikes, but we don't really have boots on the ground. Are we going to have to get to that point, do you think?
Something very strong is going to have to happen. I know what to do. I'm going to say it at the appropriate time. I always hate when I see Obama explaining we're going to send troops in 2 weeks, so we're going to put them here, we're going to do that. I mean, they explain everything. And I always think back, General MacArthur, General Patton. Can you imagine? They're spinning in their graves as he's saying when we're putting the troops in, what we're doing, when we're bombing, where we're going. And by the way, all the battles turn out to be very much. Recently, when they caught the sort of a mid-level accounting person, they made such a big deal out of it. Instead of being quiet and not saying anything, they made such a big deal out of it. And now they go out and protect themselves. We've got to stop talking, and we have to do. The TSA, you know, you see what's happened with that, where it's 96% of the people can get through. Frankly, it's horrible. But they shouldn't have been talking about it because you're like waving a flag. They should have kept it quiet and fixed the problem, not talked about it. So we have tremendous problems. We have gross incompetence in our leadership. Gross. I mean, our president is incompetent. And something has to be done about it.
Are you worried that people, if you do announce your candidacy on June 16th, are you worried people might not take you seriously? This is, you know, the second time in 2012. You've talked about it in the past.
You know, I do very well. I've been doing very well in the polls, and nobody thinks I'm running. So on June 16th, you'll find out what I'm doing. And, you know, if I run, I think it's going to be, I mean, everyone takes me seriously. I built a great company. You look at what I've done, and I wrote The Art of the Deal. Of course, this administration hasn't read it, but most of the negotiators that we have probably haven't read it, but everybody else has. But, you know, one of the biggest selling business books, probably the biggest selling business book of all time. I had a tremendous success with The Apprentice, which I told them I'm not going to do. Who would give up a show like that? Millions and millions of dollars in order to do, you know, I give up a lot. Politicians give up nothing when they run. They run and they run and they lose and they win and they just keep running. That's all they do is run. I give up a tremendous amount. I give up deals. I give up hundreds of millions of dollars of deals. So I give up a lot by doing this, but our country's in trouble and we have to make it great again.
Now, there are a lot of people running for president in the Republican Party.
To put it mildly.
Rick Perry just announced today. I guess what makes you stand out is it the fact that you are a businessman and that you're not necessarily a politician?
Well, look, Rick, he's a nice man, but he's not going to do the job. You have to be able to deal with China. You have to know how to deal with China. I deal with them all the time. I have the biggest bank in the world is a Chinese bank. They're a tenant in one of my buildings. I know I've been dealing with China. I've made a fortune off of China. I've made a tremendous amount of money off China. I know how to deal with China. And China respects me. In fact, Business Week magazine had an article, the 10 things that the Chinese most want. One of the 10 things is anything Trump. And I sell units to them. I sell tens of millions of dollars worth of, I know how to deal with China. China cannot believe they're getting away with what they're devaluing their currency and they're just absolutely killing us on trade. They're taking our jobs, they're taking our manufacturing, they're taking everything.
Where do you want to see our relationship improve? Is it in the economic sector?
Yeah, well, not necessarily improve. I want to see it that we end up not having to have huge deficits with China, because China is just eating our lunch, and they have been for many years, in all fairness. And Obama doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't know how to do it, and I do. I mean, I do. That's what I do.
Now, there are some tensions rising in the South China Sea right now
Big.
over land.
That's right.
There's been talk that possibly a war in the future. Are you worried at all about our relationship militarily with China?
Well, I think if I run and if I win, I think my strongest suit will be jobs, and my strongest suit likewise will be security. I think we will be respected in the world. I'm going to build up the military. I'm going to take care of our vets, but I'm going to build up the military. And, China's only doing that because they don't respect us. You look at what they're doing. They're going right into territory that has always been free territory, and they just don't respect us. So they have to respect your leadership. They don't respect Obama. They don't respect our president. And that's why they're doing all of this. That's why they devalued their currency recently. And nobody thought they would do it again because it's so bad right now. And they did it again because we have so many problems between Israel and Iran and everything we're doing. We have so many problems that they said, hey, you know what? These jerks, these stupid people with these stupid leaders have all these problems. We're going to devalue currency again. They wouldn't have done it if we didn't have these problems. But we don't get along with Putin in Russia. We don't get along with anybody, and yet we're a laughingstock. We're a laughingstock. We don't know what we're doing. So we have to build up our military. We've never been hated more than we're hated now. We're sort of like the big bully that gets beat up all the time. It's pretty sad.
And you think you're the man to change that, possibly?
I think if I run, if I win, you will be very happy, believe me.
Finally, I want to ask you, a lot of people might think that they know you. Your name obviously is very familiar. Is there anything, though, that Iowa voters might not know about you that you'd like to share?
Well, the one thing, they know me. I've been pretty well known for a long time, and hey, I'm somebody that I really love the country, and I want to see our country thrive and be prosperous. And I want to see our country be rich again because, it sounds, again, not nice. But we have to be rich in order to be great. We have to be a rich country again in order to be great. Right now, we're a poor country. We're a third world country. You look at our airports, our roads, our everything. We're falling apart. Our bridges are falling down. We have 50% of our bridges are in danger of falling down. We don't know what we're doing. And we have to become a rich country again. We have to become a great country again. And we will if I win. I will make sure that we will.
I have to ask you, elephant in the room, are you going to run for president?
Well, you're going to hear it on June 16th. And I think a lot of people are going to be very happy. Some people probably won't be happy at all. But a lot of people are going to be very happy. And I think the people of Iowa are really going to be happy.
All right, so we might be seeing you more?
I'll be around. I've been here a lot. I have so many friends here, and I've been here a lot over the last few months. I've been here, really, I enjoy it. They're amazing people. They love the country, and they work hard. Amazing people.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Trump, for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Great honor.